Well, here we are. Welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And we're really here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. And I'm going to pop up a little video here about what we do with the cannabis space as nurses and what we will be continuing to do as we grow and evolve in this space. So let me pull this video up. And here we go. Myself and Nurse Elizabeth.
Change the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship. And what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine. And I'm excited to really bring this into light. There's a company called Canam that we're merging with, and we will now be doing global education.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Well, there we go. Growing in health, growing in cannabis. And we're going to hear from Nicole Ryan in a few minutes all about Hemp Quest and what she's growing. So welcome, everyone. My name is Sherry Tutkus, and I'm the Vice President of Nursing at Holistic Caring in the Green Nurse. And not only am I a registered nurse, but I'm also a cannabis nurse, patient, advocate, and activist. And as you all know, I'm extremely passionate, and I love to podcast to share the love of plant medicine and all of the benefits. So today's guest is cannabis nurse Nicole Ryan. Nicole is a registered nurse and has been a longtime supporter of cannabinoid therapeutics and has used cannabis to better her own life in many ways. In 2018, while attending nursing school, Nicole and her partner Devon Vince started growing medicinal hemp and created a full spectrum hemp products for their company called Hemp Quest Farms. Nicole has her own compelling story of healing and what led her to medical cannabis and becoming a cannabis nurse consultant, community educator, and product formulator developer. She's been on our podcast back in December of 2021, sharing her compelling story of healing and what led her into the cannabis space as a nurse and entrepreneur with Hemp Quest. And Hemp Quest is actually part of our CBD marketplace. So we actually love those products, and we have patients that are using them all the time. Nicole is a leader in the cannabis nursing space and will be presenting this year at the Cannabis Nurses Network Conference alongside many other cannabis nurse colleagues, including yours truly. So Cannabis Nurses Network Conference is a professional development and medical cannabis education conference designed for cannabis nurses and licensed medical professionals, exploring the human endocannabinoid system and applying knowledge into practice is how Cannabis Nurses Network Conference is advancing the nursing profession and paving a path for the future of nursing. So the conference is actually a hybrid and a virtual in-person experience. In the comments below, I put a link so you can check it out and possibly get your ticket. It's going to be an amazing event. So today's show, what we're going to actually do is we're going to focus on our topics for the conference, giving you a little sneak peek and to hopefully inspire you all to get a ticket and to attend. Nicole will also be giving us updates on Hemp Quest and all of the new products and services that they're offering. So that was a really big, long introduction. I'm, I could just keep going, but Nicole, really welcome to the show. I am really, really excited to have you back. I'm even more excited that we're going to be presenting alongside one another at the Cannabis Nurses Network conference. So welcome.
Thanks, Sherry. It's good to be back. I've missed your podcasts.
I know. I've been, it's interesting when I'm sure when you're an entrepreneur and building business, you wear multiple hats, as you know. And sometimes, me, I love my podcast and I could do this every day, but we're building a global clinic, which is really, really cool. Global clinic for patients to be able to call and get free information, free 15 minutes with nurses. And that's going to be across the globe, which is very, very interesting. We're looking to launch in America first, lifted.clinics, hopefully probably by September 5th, right after Labor Day is what we're looking for. Yeah. And so we're going to be putting blasts out. We're going to be having, I'm getting more nurses on board. I'm really, really excited to be able to offer nurses an opportunity to come and work for a global company and to be able to help patients across the globe and to learn along the way. That's really beneficial. And as you know, you have your own hemp store, Hemp Quest Farms.
Yes.
Products. You're developing, you're working with patients. So let our viewers know what's going on.
So since the last time we talked, we've been in a growing phase too, like you said, wearing many hats and moving and shifting and adjusting to the everyday struggles of the cannabis space is something that we all sort of do, comes second nature, I guess. So for Hemp Quest, we're really excited because we are processing some of our crude oil right now. We are in the process of creating 8 to 10 new products, tinctures, suppositories, personal topicals, all coming soon. And we're calling this line the Intention Collection. I'm super excited to be able to offer these like targeted formulas to clients because all that does is allow the client to be more empowered in their approach to using full spectrum hemp oils in their healthcare regimen. Super excited. Super excited.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to try. Absolutely.
You'll get a gift for sure. Yeah.
Oh boy. I mean, your products are amazing. If you guys haven't seen her product selection, please go check it out. The part that I really love about Hemp Quest is that she developed it upon a need for patients. Why? Is because not only is she a registered nurse, a cannabis nurse, but she's also a patient. She's been on the other side of the bed. She knows what it's like. I know what it's like. And so what have we done? We figured out how to make it work for us. And we want to teach people how to make it work for them. And oftentimes that requires us to use a variety of different products. And so really, really cool to be able to be in the space where, you're a formulator, you're a grower, you're a producer, you're an entrepreneur, you're a medicine maker, you're a coach, you're a consultant, and I can't say enough about you. So
pretty busy lady.
Yeah, I know. Very busy.
So are you. And also Hemp Quest has implemented an affiliate program, which Green Nurse and Holistic Caring is also a part of. But over the last few months, we've been working on building that, of course, working out the kinks. But the program is designed to be pretty easy to navigate. People who are interested in becoming an affiliate can go right to our website, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and click Become an Affiliate. We've made the process fairly simple, and our job is to set you up for success. So what we're doing is building a lot of different programs that allow you to do, quick little infographics or information to send to family, friends, or coworkers. And it's really just a wonderful way to supplement your income while maybe reaping some benefits and getting some good products for yourself.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And so for new people that are out there, just can you kind of explain a little bit what an affiliate program is? So say, for example, you are out there and you find a product that you love. Okay. You love it. You're taking it. It's working, right? You share that product with someone else. right? You can get a commission on that, right? There is nothing wrong. There's nothing
Spreading the
wrong
love.
with helping people, spreading the love and being
Yeah.
compensated for it. So that's what Hemp Quest is doing. You know, you're trying the products, you try them, you like them, you share them with your friends and family, and you get affiliate payment, and then that can go towards, this is what I learned as a nurse, which I loved. You become affiliates with a lot of different companies. Over time, those commissions allow you to get your products for nothing.
That's the goal.
That's the goal, y'all. So if you really like a product line, consider it. You know, consider it. Ask them if they have an affiliate program, because it's not, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping other people and you're helping the company.
Yeah.
That's making these products. So good job.
Yeah.
Really excited for that.
And
all right. So
one more thing we're doing here. So this is kind of an interesting little side tip. It's Hemp Quest-ish related. So we are expanding our relationship with the farm that we partner with, Patterson Farm. And we talk about agritourism. It's a great way for people to come to the farm and explore, you know, farm life and see where your food comes from, meet some of the people that work there. And so Hemp Quest and Patterson Farms are planning a fantastic farm to table dinner with locally sourced food items. And as we finalize plans and menus, we'll have ticket sales for that event. And keeping with that community-driven spirit, we've created another company called Bougie Bird Beverages. And Bougie Bird Beverages is going to source and serve locally crafted brews, ciders, seltzers, and juices to guests at the farm. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have a non-alcoholic infused cocktail on the menu. So
that's what I'm looking for. Yes, I love that. It's one of my favorites. I mean, earlier today, I was drinking water-soluble CBD and THC combination.
Yes.
You know, a little afternoon refresher, just a little pick-me-up. Nice, got me relaxed. It's great. So yeah, I am looking forward to that as well. Yeah, excellent.
Cool.
Excellent job. So the other thing, here's the meat and potatoes. So not only are we passionate about products, right? We're also passionate about education. We're passionate about being cannabis nurses, and we're passionate about helping patients. And we're also it's really important. What we're trying to do is decrease stigma for clinicians to even think about coming in, specifically nurses. So I'm going to pull up this slide. So Nicole and I are going to be presenting at the Cannabis Nurses Network Conference on September 1st and 2nd. And we're going to talk a little bit, you know, the theme of today's show was the art and science of nursing, the art and science of cannabis nursing. And what does that look like? So I'm going to pull up Nicole's slide, and then mine will follow. And I think to stream. So here, I'll just do a quick little, here we go. Cannabis Nurses Network Conference, September 1st and 2nd. Both Nicole and I went through the Cannabis Nurses Network Speakers Bureau. And so if you go to their page, you'll be able to see all the things that they offer there. They have a network, complete 100% amazing support and training and education, and really helping us to polish our skills in how we present and educate our communities, right? Because it's really important. You know, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of misinformation, and also presentation is important. You know, we need to make sure that we're honing in on the right topics and how we work with patients and providers. So great place. Getting back to, we're presenting. So this is the thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple slides here and how it kind of relates to the art and science of nursing, working with other nurses, working with other clinicians, right? And how we can apply theory and really get everyone on board on the same page. So the art and science of nursing, you know, what does that look like to you? And tell us about this slide.
Well, I created this slide because it was my connection to nursing theory, nursing practice in the cannabis space, but all of these beautiful faces played a super important part in my development. Obviously, Sherry, you're kind of in the center there. You've been a huge influence in myself and where I want to go with this. And May down at the bottom there, she was like my gateway into the cannabis nursing community, which is kind of fun. Like, I've never met May in my life, but I found her through a mutual friend and saw that she was a cannabis nurse. And then I just found all you guys through that meeting. And then, gosh, Heather's on there too. And she created the Cannabis Nurses Network, which gave us this wonderful platform. But what it does for me, this image is just a representation of all the different people and minds, the nurses that we all are, we're all very different. They all have different specialties and we all do different things, but we come together to advocate for patients and what their healthcare should look like, and help them guide their way through this medical cannabis as therapy.
Yeah. And the part that I really like too is when I'm looking at all of these individuals here, is we truly, as we step into the cannabis space, what we have done is a couple of different things, right? When we look at healing, we look at bio, psycho, social, spiritual healing. It's on both sides. It's all of it. Encompasses total healthcare, THC, bio, psycho, social, spiritual. When we look at how the plant works in our body, right? It showers down on our umbrella, whole plant medicine to provide homeostasis and balance, but it also works on the spirit. And that's a part that we forget. And as clinicians in the cannabis space, it can be really, really lonely.
It can
right?
be.
Because here you are, you're dealing with your own stigma, right? As well as the stigma of others, and in trying to really differentiate that. So when we come together, this beautiful tree, this tree of life that I see here, are nurses in the cannabis space that are actually doing it a little bit differently, working together, working cohesively, coming together to unify, unification, right? And bringing cannabis education, not only to patients, but to providers and to other nurses. And so I remember at one point in time, when I started learning about cannabis, and I got really angry that clinicians didn't know, no one knew about it. And then, here I am educating, and then I look at and then I'm like, I have to have compassion for those clinicians, right? You think about that. There's a lot of people that are out there that don't know what they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know it. And this is where it's going to lead into the art and science of cannabis nursing. Yeah. Guess what the art is, you all? You guys. Nurses are the art. We are truly the art of how we take care of patients. So the art and science of nursing, right? The art of nursing has been defined as the nurse's ability to be compassionate, caring, and communicative. The art of nursing is the intentional, creative use of oneself based upon skill, expertise to transmit emotion and meaning to another. It is a process that is subjective and requires interpretation, sensitivity, imagination, and active participation. So I really like this slide, right? So really it's about being intentional, right? The art of nursing is a skill set that requires you to be intentional. It requires you to be creative based on your skill or your expertise, right? To transmit this emotion and meaning to another, right? It's subjective. It requires us to be active participants when we're caring for patients. And this includes patients that use cannabis as medicine. The science, right? So you've got the art of nursing and the science of nursing. The science is the pathophysiology, the disease process, and techniques learned during nursing education and applied during nursing care. So the nurse applies scientific, evidence-based knowledge, critical thinking, and autonomy. So truly, cannabis nurses embody what the art and science of nursing means, because it requires the nurse to be both open, creative for teaching and learning, as well as being able to utilize and apply research and the science of human caring, right? So the art is how we deliver nursing care based on science, evidence-based practices within our scope of practice as nurses. Really, really rich stuff. So I tell nurses, you got this. You got this. You can do this. It just requires you to find another group of people that want to support you. So if you're new out there, if you're a nurse, if you're thinking about cannabis nursing, I want to get into one other thing that we're going to get into. This is the reason why you need to learn this.
100%.
This is a big one.
Huge.
Big one. Big one. So this is when I truly came out of the cannabis closet. What ended up happening was, started using cannabis as medicine, plagued with stigma. It was horrible. I was ashamed. You name it. I was there. And so, but it was having such a huge impact on my life. I started working with patients. I was seeing a huge shift. So what truly helped me to get out of the cannabis closet and really start to advocate and be an activist and to share the message and the passion of this most misunderstood plant was the National Council State Boards of Nursing in 2018. They identified 6 principles, 6 areas of essential knowledge about cannabis for nurses, advanced practice nurses, and nursing students. Really, really important. So for those of you that are new out there, the National Council State Boards of Nursing is the nursing regulatory board that puts on the nursing exam for nurses to get licensed in each particular state. So let's review these really quickly, and then we'll get into the most important one, in my opinion. Right? So 1, the nurse shall have working knowledge of the current state of legalization of medical and recreational cannabis nurse. In other words, you need to know the states, and you need to know what's legal, what's not, and you need to know the programs. A working knowledge of the jurisdiction's medical marijuana program. So what that means is each individual state has its own rules and regulations when it comes to medical cannabis. As nurses, we need to know that when we're working with patients. It's important. Nurses also should have an understanding of the endocannabinoid system, cannabinoid receptors, cannabinoids, and the interactions between them. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're not only learning, but we're teaching others, because as we know, the endocannabinoid system is the most important system in our body because it regulates everything.
Everything.
The nurse shall have an understanding of cannabis pharmacology and research associated with the medical use of cannabis. Really important, because you know what? Cannabis can make some drugs work better. Cannabis can make some drugs not work so good. So it's really important to know that. Cannabis is very safe, very effective, but with specific guidance and dosing, teaching people how to self-titrate and dose. What we're looking to do is what? Mitigate side effects, right? Optimize benefits, mitigate side effects. So the nurses, you must know this. You must know this stuff. The nurse shall be able to identify the safety considerations for the patient use of cannabis, right? It's always about optimizing results. How can we make the cannabis work better? Taking the lowest amount to get the most therapeutic results. Safety issues. You think about elderly. You know, are they at risk for falls? Are they going to be dizzy? What are some safety measures we can think of? As nurses, if you're not asking your patients about their cannabis use, and if they're using it, you could be missing the boat on a huge opportunity to help guide and direct them to better practices. And finally, the most important one that I'm covering at the conference is the nurse shall approach the patient without judgment regarding the patient's choice of treatment or preferences in managing pain or other distressing symptoms. My favorite thing, and I had to sit and meditate on this, and I was like, I don't know if I should put this on the slide or not, but the bottom line is every time you judge someone, including yourself, you reveal a part of yourself that needs to be healed.
Wow.
Okay? Think about it. Okay, there is not room for judgment when caring for patients and when working with providers. The bottom line is this: our judgments kill the vibes, creates bias, and places limitations on the full impact of healing for both the patient and the clinician, right? So when you think about judgment defined means this: we're always judging. We're judging machines. We're judging good, bad, neutral. That's okay. What we want to do is really kind of think about it in a different way. How about discernment over judgment, right? So judgment means to make a decision or form an opinion. But we really need to be discerning when we're forming opinions and making these decisions. Why? Right? So we're talking about the opinions that are based on predetermined filters rather than observable facts and behaviors, right? We're judging machines, good, bad, neutral. Judgment often stems from what? Our personality, our ego, which isn't bad, but it's all about perspective, right? It's all about perspective consciousness, emotional processing, looking behind a patient's eyes, and we need to be discerning as clinicians, right? Non-judgment stems from spirit or our connection to spirituality, right? And basically, we just need to humbly put aside our preconceived notions, our biases, our prejudices, and our judgment, and consider that these spiritual principles might be really beneficial and helpful, right? So how do we examine, how do we work with, how do we do this? We need to examine our bias and use discernment instead of judgment. So there's my long-winded dissertation on some of what I'm going to be presenting, but I'm going to get into more detail.
Yeah.
We're going to get into nursing theory, right? So this is going to lead the art and science of nursing, leads into the National Council State Boards of Nursing, discussing the 6 essential areas of knowledge, which leads into the 6th National Council State Boards of Nursing, which really kind of hones in on spiritual principles decreasing judgment, trying to use discernment over judgment and how we do that. And the next piece of it is, how do we as nurses bring nursing theory into our practice as cannabis nurses, right? And why is that important? When I hear nursing theory, you know what happens to me? I get dizzy, I get nauseous, I get cotton mouth. I don't want to talk about it, and I'd rather go smoke a J.
Well, the term theory, I think it does sort of intimidate a lot of people. You think, it's this long-winded, boring, large words that you have to look up type of, statement. But we use theory all the time without even realizing it in nursing. Just like simple tasks that we do throughout our day as a nurse, we're implementing a piece of a theory that we've learned along the way. And sometimes that becomes an unconscious act as you become more experienced, which I'm sure you've experienced in your clinic.
Yeah, totally. Completely 100% have. And, in nursing theory, so if you think about, as we're pushing the needle towards legalization, as we want to bring this into the conventional system, as more colleges and universities are implementing cannabis education into their curriculum, particularly nursing, right? Nursing, advanced practice nurses, and those, that nursing theory is really important. And it just gives us a critical framework to process information, to make it applicable to how we conduct ourselves in the space as nurses when working not only with cannabis patients, but with all patients. And the nursing caring theory, it was discovered by, was 1979, Gene Watson was the first person that actually put anything together in regards to nursing theory. And so Nicole and I are going to be discussing that at the Cannabis Nurses Network. She's going to share her compelling story of healing and apply Gene Watson's theory on human caring and the 10 caritas processes. And caritas means to cherish, right? So how we cherish ourselves and cherish our patients, and how we can apply that to cannabis. How do we apply that to cannabis, right? And I'm telling you, there's a huge correlation and indication, not only applying this nursing theory to patients, but also with the clinicians that we work with. And the number one, I think the number one out of all of it is practice loving kindness to self and others.
100%. But we don't do that enough. And I think that, when I learned about this theory first in nursing school, you have to learn it for a test and you have to be able to identify who matches up to what theory. And, but what you don't see is why it is so important to put this theory into use. The essence of nursing is caring, like you say, and the hallmark of nursing is individualized care, providing safe, comprehensive treatment, and creating a space for patients to heal doesn't just happen in the hospital at the bedside. It's all over the place. We can create these environments and these spaces all along the way to not only create a safe space for people to process negative and positive emotions, or like you and Nurse Mark had done for me, you created a space where I was comfortable and able to just let go of my stigma. And you guys, I resonated with a lot of what you said, and this theory is woven into cannabis care completely.
It's totally woven into cannabis care. And you think about why it is. When patients come to us, generally, they come to us broken, sick, suffering, giving up. A lot of patients, they don't know what's wrong with me. Listen, I get excited when patients say they don't know what's wrong with me. You know where I go, right? I go right to the endocannabinoid system. It doesn't matter. I know what's wrong. It's your endocannabinoid system. We're just going to get that healthy and everything's going to fall into place. But the bottom line is that they come to us really sick, suffering, and broken without hope, right? And literally last resort. This is why we're trying to get the message out now, is because it doesn't need to be the last resort at all. Plant medicine, cannabis, plant medicines, Ayurvedic herbs, supplements, food, diet, nutrition, all of it is so healthy and healing. And cannabis is so misunderstood. This is why we do this all the time. It's the most misunderstood plant in the world ever, like over everything that I've ever learned as a nurse.
I mean, the amount of time that it took for this stigma to get to be where it is now, like we've reduced it quite a bit over the years, but now nurses, because we are a force to reckon with now, we're grouping together, we're gathering the research, we're talking to clients and patients and because we are patients ourselves, we understand it to be a really important part of what we do. And, you know, you think about nursing, you think of the bedside nurse in the hospital or the home healthcare nurse. And what we're doing is the same. I've never had so many clients hug me in my whole life because of what I'm giving them. And it's all education. It's knowledge. It's ability.
Empowerment.
It is empowerment. It's the ability to care for yourself, you know, without that 15 minutes in the doctor's office that you can't remember what you should be talking about. With me, I mean, we can't stop talking about it. You know, I have to schedule longer consultations because we're just scratching the iceberg there, the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, if you're a patient out there, right, and you get these really long intake forms from cannabis nurses, here's the reason why. The more information that you give us about everything that you do in your life, the better we're going to be able to help you to make choices and to apply cannabis into what you're doing and maybe make some adjustments to make the cannabis work better. That's what we really do, right? We educate, we empower, we help you to make choices. We teach you about the plant. We teach you how to choose, how to look for good products, how to take them, how to self-titrate, how to pair them with activities, and how to nourish your system not using cannabis. So if you can imagine that you can nourish your endocannabinoid system doing an activity, not using cannabis, but doing an activity. And then if you pair that activity, so massage has been known to upregulate and stimulate the endocannabinoid system. I did a huge presentation for a massage school looking at all the physiological responses and how they affect and how the endocannabinoid system is responsible for it. You pair CBD, one of Nicole's topicals, to a massage together, right? Your skin's your largest organ, right? Think about that, your largest organ, right? Touch, sensory, you know, so you're doing multiple different things. And that's what we do as nurses, is we bring the education to pair cannabis with health and wellness activities that support the endocannabinoid system, right? It's not one or the other, it's everything. So people will start taking cannabis and they'll be like, how come it's not working? I said, well, it's probably wrong product, wrong dose, and you're probably not doing anything else to support it. You know
or they got a product with no CBD or other cannabinoids in it. It's just hemp seed oil. That happens a lot.
That's a bad one.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. So there's a few people out there that I just want to say hi to. If you're still there, Coach Sheila Fiorni, Helena McDonald, Ariana Chanel. I see Facebook user, no name, and I see Kuka Rose. So if any of you are out there, I can actually see comments now because I put that up. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, you know, please ask us. Is Pennsylvania allowing medical marijuana? We have, I'm gonna put up in the thing here. If you go to, we have a map. If you go to holisticcaring.com and you go to medical cards and you click on medical cards and that pops right open, you're going to see a map of the states that have medical cannabis, and then particular link that you can click on if you wanted to get your medical cannabis card. So we do have that as well. So if there's anyone out there that has any questions, we're more than happy to answer them. I'm going to start to wrap it up here. It's one of my favorite last slides is here we are. So we do have, like I said, we have the Cannabis Nurses Network Conference, September 1st and 2nd in La Jolla, San Diego. We're going to be presenting and speaking. We have a lot of great nurses. Nicole's doing a panel. I'm doing a panel. My panel is on spirituality. So spirituality is the root of cannabis care, the art and science of nursing, a return to love. High science, right? I'm going to be talking about high science. What is high science? Well, high science. High is the art and science of nursing. So we're going to really get into that juiciness, and I've got a lot of stories to tell. And then Nicole as well is going to be presenting, you know, the cannabis nurse experience, right? In your story.
Yeah.
And then on our panel as well, we have, oh, you're on a different panel. Sorry, my mind's going. So it's myself, Dee Dee Cullen, Denise, who's going to be doing energized living, and also Jamie Rollins, who's going to be talking about psychedelics. So, oh, you're in Florida. All right, Kuka. No questions, just keep doing. All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes, it is weird. Florida is weird. For
Oh,
sure.
that's so
Yeah,
good.
it's all weird. I mean, I've been doing this for so long that, when I start to see different things pop up with different states doing different things, I scratch my head and I'm like, they really need a nurse making some of those decisions.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. North
like,
North
what's the
Carolina.
rationale for that?
Yeah. North
What was that?
Carolina has a program that we're trying to get moving forward. They believe that it's the best medical marijuana program put to date, and hopefully we'll get some of it passed. It's needs a little bit of work. It's not completely comprehensive for all patients that I like to see. Mental health is left off there a little bit too much, and I'm not sure why. It's not about
Yeah.
it's not about anything other than stigma and what politicians believe that the public can handle. I think you know how that goes, but nurses and more clinicians who are experienced with the endocannabinoid system need to be making their voices heard
Yeah.
and talking about it in a real way with research and evidence-based practice, which is possible. We have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So the other thing, I just want to plug a couple other things. So currently, right now, Elizabeth, my business partner who wrote Cannabis for Health, Become a Coach, right? So we have a network, and the network is amazing. Holisticcaring.com. When you go to the page, you're going to see Join Network. You just click on it. It will get you into the network. We have a free introductory to cannabis course, patient portal, support group. All of our webcasts and webinars are put up there. It's private. It's off social media, and you can connect with Nicole's in there. I'm in there. You can connect with us privately in there and chat. As well as we have a lot of other like really cool themed modules like on psychedelics, alternative healing, cannabis research, you just on and on. Industry rocks. So just really cool place just to go and just get information and to hang out and meet like-minded people that are truly learning about how to use this plant safely and effectively. So let me put that little banner up there. And so we also have, let's see, free community. Here we go, holisticcaring.com. Then all of Elizabeth's programs. So Elizabeth,
Oh,
she's the
wow.
master. Yeah, 50% off. So she's just launched a global cannabis program. It is absolutely amazing. So the part that's really cool about that is it incorporates other countries and provides education in other countries, also covers everything. Yeah, it's a really, really rich program looking at different disease states, targeted research, information, how you can apply it clinically with or without with conventional medicine, and then dosing. So looking at research, some of the dosing that's out there. So this is an amazing thing. And then she's also changed up her certificate program. So her certificate program, she's added, I think, 6 new modules. She's updated all of it. Which is really, really cool. You get the same toolkit. You get all of the same resources. She's decreased the price, which is amazing. And now it's on sale for 50% off, which is great. And so what's really cool about that is that program in itself is really going to be essential if you're a nurse that's out there and want to come work with us. The reason why is because it's everything that you need. It's literally, you'll have this information forever. When I'm telling you about how to assess a patient to different diseases, to all the different, it's so, you've taken it.
It's a foundation material. Like, I can't believe it's 50% off and she reduced the price. So everyone who is watching, you literally go to Holistic Caring Network, sign up for the free portal and all the goodies that you get. But when you're looking to learn and expand your knowledge and to really like sink your teeth into this, the programs are so well mapped out, easy to navigate. There's quizzes at the end, I believe, of every module still.
Yeah.
And you get to kind of test yourself, and it's all usable knowledge. Like, I've used almost every piece of it. I've had different patient populations come through, and I always refer back to the book. I always go back, especially pediatrics. I have no experience with pediatrics. There's a great section in there. And it's just a great book and great program. So jump on it.
Jump on. And here we go. This is the Cannabis Nurses Network Conference. And then again, we have Nicole Ryan, founder of Hemp Quest. And it's been an amazing show. I went over a little bit, but I love you guys. Love you all. My next show next week, I'm not having a show, but the following week, I'm going to have on Deb Despain. So Deb Despain, yeah, she's a cannabis nurse. And she had something very interesting. So she, we're going to be doing a lot of advocacy and activism on that show, sharing her story of what happened to her. She was a medical cannabis patient. She ended up getting sick, ended up in the hospital. They gave her medications that she had side effects to. And then they tried to point it on cannabis, saying it was the cannabis.
That's the best.
So I'm going to nip that right in the bud.
Yes. Yeah. We actually had an episode here in North Carolina where an employee of Red Robin put in a Delta 8 edible into a to-go bag, and somebody accidentally ate it. Now, that's wrong, so I don't condone any of that. But what I couldn't believe is that the people who tested the product said that it came back with almost 10 milligrams of Delta 9 THC, which isn't legal in North Carolina just yet. But they also made the comment of saying that it's enough THC to kill a small animal. The research that I found on that, it said 3 grams per kilogram of body weight. So they would have to ingest thousands of milligrams, like literally thousands of milligrams, to have any sort of death-like experience. And that, I mean, literally we gave, what do we do to the monkeys? We tried to kill.
I know.
We tried
to kill monkeys.
We tried to kill monkeys.
Can you imagine?
We couldn't do it.
More bananas.
We couldn't do it. So, I mean, if you're a nurse and you want to help people, cannabis truly is one of the safest alternatives, and should be implemented in everyone as a first line. I mean,
it should be a choice. It just should be on the table. That's it. Just put it on the table with everything else. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, it's okay. Say you don't know and refer them to us.
Yeah.
We'll take good care of
Don't
them.
say things that you're not aware of, or like you haven't researched it. False information is really dangerous.
And the part that's interesting too, like with clinicians, that, making blanket statements is dangerous, because I'm going to tell you 99.9% of the time when a clinician makes a statement that isn't true, I can come back immediately with the truth. So you can dispel those myths. So it's really, here it is. It's not about judgment. It's about discernment. And how you're going to discern is by learning, right? Learn to discern.
I love it.
Educate to medicate. And that's what we're here to do. We're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all for joining. Let me see if there's any more comments here. Thanks, David. We love you guys. Please join us. And again, in 2 weeks. And we'll see you soon. And remember what it's all about. It's truly about living your best life and helping others do the same.
Yeah.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered the cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name, and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.